We made it, Warriors. We made it. Another week. Don't you know we're on the eve of destruction? Anyway, that's an old song. So we were always on the eve. How you doing, Mike? Glenn, Ryan, Kman, Ran, James Groom. How are you, buddy? Hugo. The 100,000 party should start. Sinatra. What are you going to do? You're going to sell your 100th of a Bitcoin? No, I'm kidding. You're a hodler? All right. Do you think that Bitcoin is going to be immune to if we have any kind of liquidity problem? Think people might think about selling them? Okay, anyway, let's go to work. And I always still find it fascinating. Look at that line in euro. Okay, so I didn't just draw that line. It was there. All right, and we tagged it. Really drew it as a weekly line. So is it a reversal signal? No, because I mean, it's still a pretty ugly week, right? But I think it says it's time to stop playing the short side of euro. So here was the weekly. See, so, and we've cleaned out all the longs here. So, I'd say that we're getting closer and closer to a bounce. I wonder if Ryan agrees with me. I'm going to
Morning,
ask
mate.
him. Good morning. How are you, Ryan?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I feel like I've done a week's work today. Been a bit
Yeah,
of an explosive one, eh? There's one thing I always say, Dale. You know, big levels are big levels. You're always going to get a reaction from them.
right.
Euro dollar. I've got a chart that's got 5 levels on it: 105, 107, 110, 112, and 115. That's it. 5 levels. And look what happened at one of them. Big
Yeah,
moves. Can we bounce from here? Is this a bottom? I don't know. I think we've seen a bit of an acceleration definitely this morning, far more than what the PMIs were worth. Um,
okay.
yeah, I don't think we're done personally.
Okay.
I think this move has maybe got a bit more in the tank. If we get a hot PMI from the US today, then I think we might go back towards those lows, or at least back under 104.
I have noticed, buddy, that with the dollar strength the last few days that Canada isn't responding like it was prior
Yeah.
to last week. Normally a move like this, 50 higher in the Dixie, and Canada would be a lot better than 8 pips higher, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, but I thought it was breaking down yesterday afternoon. I've
Yeah,
been
right
sitting,
here.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
been sitting thinking probably about 10 times, shall I buy it? Shall I buy it? Shall I buy it? And I thought, no, 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 sit on your hands, Ryan. And then, towards the fix, it started breaking or later on. And I thought, no, good choice. You come in today, it's holding again, and we've had a bounce to 140. But yeah, it's fight. You've got the oil market moving on the risk, and then you've got this dollar side as well. But I think the big thing that's going on is there's no movement in yields, US yields over all this. So this all
Well,
these moves we're seeing at the moment, and look what that's doing, nothing. Which
yeah.
that's the surprise for me.
Okay. Yeah, pretty stable.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's been yields doing a lot of the driving of late.
Yeah. Big rally in metals. Nice trade came in.
Thank you, brother.
Silver's trying to play catch up. I think it's going to 32 to 32 and a half before this is over. But I don't think this is a major bottom, and I don't think this is a major bottom in gold. It did hold where it had to, but I don't know. I guess on the verge of World War III, it's hard to short gold, isn't it?
Yeah, for the time being, it is Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said yesterday, I'm still of the same opinion. I think can hardly be short gold, yeah, in this
Yeah,
market. And I also think in the very long term, we are going to go higher. But yeah, I'm trading as I usually do. I picked it up and letting some go. 27.10 is a bit of a level. 26.93 is the 61.8 of the move correction lower. We're in between. I don't think the market will want to run short into the weekend with
yeah,
whatever geopolitical risk there may be. Yeah, silver still well still underwhelming for me at
it is.
least. Needs to get above 31.50, 60, and then we
Yeah,
can a bit higher.
yeah,
Um, I, yeah, silver's going to need a decent economic environment as well. But it is holding. That's the one thing. It is
yeah,
holding. Um, yeah, but my main, well, my longer term silver, I will keep it. But my main right now in the short to medium term is gold. I'm happy the way it trades right now.
What about this darn beach ball? Every time you try and push it underwater, it keeps
It's
holding.
it's a yo-yo there right now. It's a real yo-yo right now, and it's going to continue for a while. We're getting those PMIs out in 1.5 hour. Can trade up to 155 or back down to 153.5 on
Yeah,
number. It and again, I'm still wondering whether the data that we see today, I think they must have been taken after the election already. So there are a few rumors going around that the well, it's rumors, that the PMI could overshoot a little. Then in that case, you're probably going to trade back up at 155. But we've been saying since my return, and you've been saying it as well. Trade your plan, and for as long as the plan works, go for it.
yeah,
Levels on the upside aren't breaking, and levels on the downside are holding. So if you want to be short, you take your profit when it goes down, and if you want to be long against, I'd say for as long as it holds 153, 40, 60, you take your profit when it goes back up. So that's
yeah,
still a pretty decent range play right now. On
yeah. Does vol compressing and ranges compressing here give you any kind of clue?
Well, the clue would be if vols are compressing, they are still at the 1 month is still at 11.6% in dollar yen.
Okay.
If ranges start to get more narrow, the more important thing is where are we stalling? And when I look at where, imagine that we stall here, 154.5, 155, that to me would tell me that we are stalling at a pretty lofty level in the
Yeah,
dollar yen compared to what we have been trading over the past 3, 4 years, right?
right. Yeah. Is that
If
52?
we stall
Yeah,
here, that's not bearish for me.
yeah. Okay. We could probably, I guess you just have to wait. I think that if we had a candle closing under this black line, which is, 54, it might begin to tell us something. See
Yeah.
how it's holding this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but right now it's not saying much.
Yeah, that's it. That to me is exactly. It's not telling me too much, and there's so much stuff going on. And yeah, we are slowly getting into the end of the year as well. And what do the people have to do?
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of questions, open questions for the yen. Are they going to hike rates? If they do, by how much? How are they going to bring it over? Because the Japanese government is putting a more than $250 billion equivalent stimulus package again in place. Are they going to ignore that at the Bank of Japan? I doubt it. So I don't think it's going to be a big hike if they hike in December. And Trump still has to come into the seat. There's so many questions right now. So I think it's reasonable to trade the ranges if you're in yen and not to expect all of a sudden that we are going to trade back below 150, for instance.
yeah. So you know, the yen's heading back up, risk probably is too. What do you think of risk here?
Yeah, although risk looks to be more still expressed in Swiss franc, I would say, or stuff like gold, something different. Yeah, yen is so much of a yo-yo right now. Okay, euro yen is a different animal because the euro is weak. Okay, but yeah, I mean, for the rest, I don't know what to do with the dollar yen apart from watching or trying to trade nibble here and there to just to trade the range, and I'm trying not to expect too much.
Okay. All right. I want to talk about trusting our charts. And it's based upon really kind of getting lucky, which, you know, doesn't happen a lot. But, you know, one of my preferred shorts was Google. All right. And this is the news. DOJ is going to try and force them to sell Chrome. I know you guys don't like Chrome anyway, but this is what happened to Google. So I was asked yesterday, you know, if I knew about it or when did I get in. So, you know, what I'm saying is it was the charts and it really was the weekly last week, you know, compared to many other things that were making new highs, is that we had a failing rally in Google up here at 180. Okay. So I sold a rally early this week on Tuesday, and I was a little early too. It popped, but um, the week before candle, I don't know how the market would know that there was going to be, you know, negative news on Google, but that sometimes that the charts, you just have to trust them, and you know, could have been the other way, I guess, but it still kind of amazes me that the market was ahead of the news. So if you were just trading technically, you didn't have to know about a negative development because you know what? With the S&P screaming up towards near 6,100, this was a negative development to me, the technical negative development, not fundamental news.
It,
So I just wanted to reinforce that to you guys because it still amazes me. Go
and
ahead,
Dale,
Blake.
just headline just came out in case you guys missed it. Schlegel says he can't rule out negative rates. So the Swiss franc just reversed on that. We're seeing the Euro Swiss
Grab it.
back up towards 93. Dollar Swiss is ripping right now. Just a heads up because I think this is important. You know, one of the things you know I talked about at the uh, on the trade-off show with Chris Weston this week, and also on the week ahead video this last weekend, is you had to be careful with Schlegel today. You know, we were just having this discussion in the chat room earlier this morning about you know, the Swiss franc and possibly trying to engineer a weaker Swiss because they understand that the Swiss franc is being bought because of, you know, as they said this morning,
Geo.
because of, yeah, all the geopolitical risks. And so, you know, for them to come out and try to manufacture, you know, via their words that that they could go into negative rates, that just scares the market. And you can see we have this spike low at 92. I wish I was awake for that move. I got up right after the move happened. I was actually on the flow show with Kman and Ryan this morning since I've been up since 2 o'clock this morning, my time.
Wow.
Don't ask.
Look at that.
I know.
Yeah.
I got up and I saw what the euro was doing. I checked quotes and that was my biggest mistake. So anyway, um, but this move, you can. Here's the thing, and I guess I want to talk about this with Ryan and K-Man and you, Dale, and I know Steve is here too. So I'd like to get his input. You know, this is going to be the Swiss franc. Excuse me. The Swiss franc is going to be probably one of the best trades. Probably going into next year, especially if Trump President-elect Trump can put to bed this Russia Ukraine situation. But there's still a couple months, you know, between now and then. But at that point, when you know there is some sort of, you know, ceasefire, peace agreement, whatever it ends up being, this is going to be one of the best trades of next year if that happens. What do you guys think about that, Ryan? I know you've had some words about this recently.
Yeah. So what was it? So I was just looking at the screen.
I was just talking about could be a really great trade should there be a peace agreement next year. The Euro
Oh
Swiss.
yeah, yeah. You can cast a wide net onto what risk asset will rally on the back of any peace deal. So yeah, obviously they can play both sides of this one in the Swissy, so that you've got to be careful of that. They can intervene on one side, and if it goes too far the other way, they can intervene on the other side. So they're almost a bit like Japan. They don't want the volatility in it. But yeah, if we get a good peace deal, rockets.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we haven't heard from Steve, but I see Steve is lurking around here. Steve, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey, happy
I'm
Friday.
well.
Yeah.
Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday. So I was just talking a little bit about the Swiss franc, and
I was
what are
talking
your
about
views?
the Swiss franc on Wednesday.
What's that?
The morning ads. I was talking about the Swiss franc on Wednesday to the Morning Edge people.
Got it. And
because
so what are your views here?
My views, what I said on Wednesday is that we remain within a descending channel, but we are at dangerously low levels, and it's very unlikely that the S&P is going to let it go much lower. So I said that it's a somewhat similar situation to the USD yen, but in opposite direction. As with the USD yen, there is a risk of intervention. I think there is a very good risk of intervention in the case of Euro Swiss as well. In the case of the S&P, of course, we know that the S&P remains active in the markets. So the risk reward is definitely in favor of being long at current levels. And as you very well said, if the geopolitical risk and when the geopolitical risk deflates, definitely that's going to be a big boost to Euro Swiss to move higher.
Yeah, and this is the dollar Swiss, and you can see, guys, how important this support is. And obviously the dollar's got a bid for certain reasons, and the euro doesn't for reasons that we'll talk about here in a second. But with the dollar Swiss, I mean, you look at this range. I mean, it's a big range. It's not. This is a weekly chart, just so everybody can see. But you get a double bottom like this, and you end all the geopolitical risks. Let's just say Trump is the next messiah, and he brings world peace. And guys, I might be being a little sarcastic here, but that's what he intends to do. He wants to do. But let's say, he
has a good track record in regards to that. It's
yeah,
as I've been saying since the past, it's probably his only promise that he fully fulfilled, not getting the US involved in further wars.
Yeah, and let's imagine, he negotiates a deal with Russia, Ukraine, which obviously it's intensifying right now, and I do want to mention a little bit more about that. I think the current administration is doing him a favor by doing by being a little bit more aggressive right now, because he's going to really be able to put to bed something that is flaring up at the moment. And then if he can help what's happening in Israel, at least for the time being. I know for those of you that live in
he's going to help. He's going to help.
Yeah,
he's going to help Israel take out the rest of the nuclear sites in Iran.
Well, maybe not, but maybe just bring some peace in the region for near term, which obviously is not a long-term thing.
Well, he'll be the first guy since Jesus Christ, and he didn't bring any peace there either. So he'll be the first.
Like I said, near term,
yeah.
For a period of time. And if that is the case, though, I mean, look at like what the dollar Swiss can do. And I want to go back to Russia really quick, and just you know, when you read a headline yesterday, and I know we put the headline in our chat room, we talked about it in the ForexAnalytix chat room. But by the way, if you guys aren't in the ForexAnalytix chat room talking about these types of things, and getting notified when, you know, when Ryan says, "Holy cow, you know, this is coming out on Schlegel," and, you know, we see a nice 50 pip move in the dollar Swiss, or, you know, talking about these different research pieces and different targets. If you're not in a community like this, make sure you jump in the ForexAnalytix community so you can be having conversations with us and other traders that are looking at the markets. But anyway, going back to what had happened yesterday, there's a headline that, you know, US was like, yeah, we knew that was happening. I mean, we were notified that that they are launching, you know, the missiles into Ukraine. It's like, this is so, you know, telegraphed. This is all very telegraphed at this point. It is really a nice kabuki theater we've got going on in the geopolitical sphere at this moment. So anyway, just you know, thinking about that and what this could actually look like, you know, in the weeks and months ahead, or in the months ahead. But let's stop for a second. Let's talk about why the euro is down today. And I know you guys talked about it a little bit when Ryan came on, but we've really cracked some pretty key levels of support, and the PMI data came in weaker than expected, much weaker than expected. As Ryan mentioned, maybe it wasn't as it shouldn't have elicited, it shouldn't have ushered in such a big move lower. But the fact of the matter is the euro has broken some pretty critical support. So, Steve, since we were, you know, just hearing from you, and you happen to live in Greece, what do you make?
I happen to live. I was like, yeah, I thought
you do live. You do live.
Yeah.
No, but you know, we've seen the euro actually break some pretty key levels of support today. What do you make of this? This you know, these PMI numbers that came out?
Listen, first of all, I strongly believe for quite some time, and I've been saying that the path of least resistance for the dollar remains higher. Right. So all in all, yes, many times the data also help in the direction of the trend. Right. But all in all, you know, as long as the market is pricing in a lot of good things happening with Trump, it's going to get disappointed with many of them, with many of the things it's pricing in. But since there is no opportunity to be disappointed until there is at least a few months that pass from where we currently are, I think that both the data and market expectations will keep the dollar well bid. Now, having to do with equities, I think we might be getting to the point that we might be slowly getting to the point that dollar strength will start hurting equity strength. We perhaps are seeing the first indications of that, but I think there might be more to come in the days ahead.
All right, yeah, the dollar wrecking ball, if you will. You know, there's a couple things that I'm gonna talk about on the week ahead video. So make sure you guys are all tuned in for that, because I'm gonna talk about, and I'm gonna get some of Ryan's opinions here because I know he has some. I'm gonna talk about seasonality. There's a lot of people that have been talking about the US dollar and how it's sold. In other words, you know, starting in basically in November, you see, you know, dollar selling, and it's pretty persistent throughout the end of the year. I think we're in a little bit of a unique situation. Like I said, I'm going to talk about it on the week ahead video personally. That's one of those topics that I'm gonna spend some time on, to discuss sentiment and seasonality and what we're seeing here. But Ryan, I know you have opinions about seasonality, and you think it's bullocks. And I'm going to use your terminology, bullocks. Or
only if you say it in a proper right? English language, bollocks.
Bollocks. Sorry. Okay, so it's shite. Okay, so tell us how you feel about seasonals, and how you feel about the dollar, you know, and its seasonal patterns.
I just don't like seasonals, because if you look at the past performance of seasonals,
I'm with you, Ryan, on that, by the way.
it equates to nothing. You know, no one comes in on the first of a month, buys or sells a currency, and then does nothing until the last day of the month, and then gets out of position just because the last 5 out of 10 Decembers were up Decembers. You can't trade it. Yes, you can use them to get a gauge what a market might do. You know, it's like the old days with oil and the summer season, gasoline prices in the summer season. It's a natural seasonal thing that happens. But for trading, no, not for me. And you know, we had this. You're talking about, you know, what the dollar might do into the end of the year. Look at the last 2 years. What has happened in the dollar coming into the end of the year? We were having big fundamental events. We were either getting the fallout from the top in inflation and Fed hiking. Last year, if you remember, one of the reasons why the dollar was getting caned, because everyone was pricing in 150, 200 basis points of Fed cuts coming into the new year.
Right.
And look how that turned out. So maybe seasonals work when there's not a lot going on in markets, but when you've got, you know, big things happening in markets there, you know, the end of 2023, the end of 2022, yeah, there's bigger fish to fry than whether December was a 0.25% positive for the S&P in the last 10 years. You know, who's going to give monkeys about 0.25% return?
Right. And you know, and this comes into a part of a conversation that we were having on the Flow Show, which, like I said, I jumped on the Flow Show this morning because for some ungodly reason I woke up. Well, it happened to be because the euro took a 170 pip nosedive, which happened to get me up. But you know, I was chatting with Kman and Ryan about you know, will we have some end of year flows, you know, come December? And that is something that we will have to take into account. Don't you agree, Kman?
Well, that's what I've been saying, right? Hey, to come back on seasonals, they used to work, you know. I mean, the Greek drachma, Steve, was bought every year just before the summer due to the holiday season. Come on, seasonals do work, but that was before. No,
The drachma.
yeah, I think we are just getting closer to it. And as I said yesterday, it's probably delayed by elections and stuff. But yeah, so the money managers will have to do stuff before the end of the year. Bit of window dressing probably as well. Could be that that the dollar sees a little bit of weakness, and then people will say like it's seasonalities, but the real reason will be because the stock markets are sky high.
Hey, I'm gonna thank you, Kman. We need to get ready for the Canadian data, which I'll get us ready for that right now because we have Canadian retail sales. I do want to mention one last thing because Steve did post a chart on the dollar yen. It's the chart of the day. And, you know, when you're looking around in the risk sphere of the FX market and something just happened, you know, 15 minutes ago, where you're like, if you're a, you know, risk manager and you're like, well, shit, I've been buying Swiss francs because of everything that's been happening in Russia, Ukraine, and because of what, you know, Schlegel just said, not Jordan, Schlegel just said, I don't want to buy any more Swiss francs right now, but I do want to have risk hedge. Maybe you might turn to the yen. Maybe you might turn to the dollar a little bit. So, you know, I don't rule out the dollar, or excuse me, the yen being a risk aversion currency. And I suggest that you all go read Steve's technical chart of the day, the blog post. It's right on ForexAnalytix.com. Just go to the blog and it'll be the first post there, that most recent that he just posted. So Steve, there's a little hat tip to you and what you're seeing in the yen. But we have less than a minute before Canadian data comes out. So let me go ahead and grab the data flash here. Ryan, Kman, you guys any opinions about Canadian data before it comes out? Just a second. That would be no. All right. All right. So one of the things about the dollar CAD, and I know Ryan, you'd mentioned this. It looked like it was going to break down yesterday, and then we got a little false breakdown below 139.50. You know, if this thing can regain 140, now we have some, you know, some retail sales data that forecasts are for a bit of an improvement on the core. So we'll see if that can be beat, and if it doesn't, the dollar CAD might get another lift here.
Yeah, sorry, Blake.
There you go.
Yeah, I was getting ready to post it.
Strong retail sales. So dollar CAD might push a little bit lower. Well, it isn't even moving. Wow. Not even a blip. I think if you're out there, you're looking at that data right now, and you're like, all right, the dollar CAD did not drop, and the dollar is strengthening everywhere else. You might get a little panic in your pants and start buying the dollar CAD might actually make a move higher later today if the U.S. dollar stays as firm as it is right now. So just be careful if you're on the short side. This should have pushed us, in my opinion, this should have pushed us. That data should have gotten us down here, and it didn't. Yet, not yet anyway. So if the dollar remains bid and the euro doesn't, starts to sell off back below 104, this dollar CAD could reach back above 140. So just FYI, that's what I'm thinking. Dale, do you have an interview today?
No.
Okay, great. Then how about this? Let's go around the horn because I don't want to say anything because I set these up for the week ahead video, but I'd love to ask each and every one of you, going into next week, what are you going to be looking at? What's the trade setup that you're going to be looking at personally? And let's start with Dale, since I haven't asked Dale a whole lot this morning. Dale, what are you thinking going into this next week? What's going to be the best trade setup, or what you think is going to be the biggest mover going into this next week? Any ideas?
Yeah, the U.S. dollar yen going south and finally breaking down.
Oh, look at you. You're just leveraging Steve's blog post. Just kidding. I'm totally joking. But you do think it's going to go down.
I've been selling rallies there for a month and making some money, but never getting the breakdown. I'm not
Yeah.
going to not be there after all of that for the breakdown. So
Yeah,
I'm
doesn't that
holding
suck
shorts.
when that happens? And
Not
don't
really,
think that.
because not really. It wears you out, but they were still good trades. So that proves that you could be wrong about a trend turning, and if you manage it and you have good entries, you can still make money, because knowing where a top is all rear view mirror stuff.
Yeah.
But so again, probe, have your stops there, and then take partials. And then okay, you've taken the risk out of the trade, and then move your stops to protect again, and
Yeah.
just trade.
All
And
right.
that's anyway. I still think yields are peaking. I think they are here. I'm still on it, not for a huge move, but I could see the 10-year getting back to 420, then a little bit under 4% in the next month or so. And I think it's going to
Well,
be risk off.
if the dollar yen is following yields, I would say we are on pretty good support. And if we get a little
Yeah.
break here, it actually looks
Well,
just like the
like
dollar
you were
yen.
just talking about the Swiss and the yen, I think that the yen is going to get safe haven buying here.
Yeah, it's exactly it. I think that would be
Exactly what I said in the chat room a minute ago, Dale.
What's that?
Exactly what I said in the chat room 1 minute ago.
Well, kindred spirits, we're both, insightful, and anyway,
But wait, didn't I
good
just
to
say that
know.
like 10 minutes ago?
What?
Like
Oh
maybe
yeah, and you did too.
maybe traders are going to shift from buying Swiss francs to start buying yen on risk averted. Now,
Yeah,
look, we're all on
back
the
to the
same.
old days.
We're all on the same page. Okay, well,
All
with
right.
that being said, since Kman, you jumped in here, what do you think is going to be the best trade setup going into next week?
All right, I'm gonna stick my neck out and say that well, at least the Aussie is going to hold mid 64s, and we may be trading a little bit higher again. End of the month next week, lots of data next week.
Yeah, that
The
looks
one
okay.
interesting thing to know is when the data will have been taken, whether it's be before or after the elections, and we will have to see how those US data behave, because they can have like a bit of a psychological little boost, but sometimes the market looks through those. So yeah, I'm gonna be starting to prepare the end of month next week.
All right. Well, I have to admit the Aussie, you've been harping on it all week. It is holding up so well.
Yeah.
It is one of those, and I kind of shifted my view here just when I was just doing technical analysis. I mean, we might actually just be in an ascending channel, which is a slight ascending channel, which means that, if Kman, maybe we hold 64s, mid 64s, which will be down here. Even if we get much below that, and let's delete this for a second. So, give maybe a more, a better view here. Maybe we have this slight, ascending channel, and these lows end up holding, as he's talking about. Maybe we even get a little bit lower than that, and it might actually still hold. But I have to agree, it is holding up really, really well. All right, Ryan, what do you think going into next week? What is going to be your trade setup? And Steve, I'm coming to you right after.
Yeah, you know me. I don't tend to plan my short-term trades that far in advance. I think first and foremost, you got to watch this weekend. You got to be careful so if you're in risk-aligned trades, if you're in yen, Swissy, whatever, and you're not on the side of a potential bad headline, then just be careful, because if something happens over the weekend, bonds start flying, you're not going to have a chance to get out. So it's difficult. Now we've got that increased risk at the moment to make any sort of plans myself. But personally, I'll keep an eye on this euro dollar break. I've been banging on about the 105 level for long enough. If we get up and hold it again, that's going to keep the downside in pressure, and maybe we're going to be heading much, much lower. As for the Aussie, I'm still short in Aussie Kiwi. We've got the RBNZ next week, so that'll be a big watch. And Aussie Kiwi's just looking like it might be having a little break up at the moment. We tapped the former highs around the 111.75.80 area, hit it on the nail, and dropped back since. So yeah, that's one I'm keeping an eye on to build up my shorts.
All right, very good, very good. And I'm going to go to Steve, but I just wanted to mention, Tony, are you asking what chat room are we in? We're in the ForexAnalytix chat room. That's where we're at. This is where you guys should be chatting all day and all morning about everything. It's in the ForexAnalytix chat room. Remember, it's only $1 for 10 days to jump in there and check it out. Don't be a cheapskate, Tony. Jump on in. Steve, yeah, all day, all night, right, Bran? Steve, what do you think going into next week?
I don't see any reason why we should be fading what has been happening, and I've been saying that for a few weeks. But if there is one thing that is probably a good risk-reward opportunity for a reversal, is the USD yen, which I blogged about today. In my opinion, it has reached high enough levels to pose a risk of a BOJ intervention. Plus, we are clearly seeing momentum loss. Plus, it's strongly affected by US yields, which I think will have a very, very difficult time appreciating further from where we are. So this is what I'm looking towards. Now, I'm also very interested in the metals. It's quite interesting, the big rebound we've seen in gold despite dollar strengthening. I was expecting that the metals might correct even further. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done that yet. I'm not short metals, I would never be, but nevertheless, it's surprising. So I'm definitely paying close attention to that as well.
All right, and it really gold is, I guess it's probably more of the geopolitical bid that you got there, because obviously you're not seeing the same thing in silver. Silver still trades very
Yes,
heavy. So
silver
anyway,
is clearly underperforming gold
yeah, it sure is.
by a lot.
Oops, sorry about that.
Just before you move on, Blake,
Yep.
we've got Mr. Michael Weissman. He's probably watching this show. He's also
Yeah.
in the chat room. I think he's hit the record button on the chat room. So he's he's recording whatever he's doing. Let's hope it's clean.
Oh, yeah, right. Michael, make sure your video camera is disabled when you're doing that. Because I don't want to see it. Um, he said certainly accidentally. All right, very good. Guys, I want to thank you all for being here. Oh, AJ, and by the way, AJ is a new addition to the ForexAnalytix community. Very nice addition. A lot of interactions. Really nice to have you there, AJ. He said the dollar CAD's starting to move down, and also I think, excuse me if I say this. Phil had said, yeah, the Canadian data is old data. Yeah, Canadian retail sales, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 2 months old.
Yep.
Is that what it is? Yeah, just to make sure. Anyway, the dollar CAD did slip a little bit lower, but we're gonna have to see what the dollar's doing as a whole. I do want to say thank you all for being with us, every day. And for those of you that are new viewers, thanks for being here and hanging out with us. And just remember, we're here every day, not only on this show but also on the Flow show. If you don't know how to get there, just go to forexanalytix.com. Go to where it says webinars, and you can get to the Flow show. You can listen to it there. This is the way you interact with Ryan and Kman, or you can watch it on YouTube. And as you'll see probably in the days ahead, you'll be able to watch it on other venues as well, whether it's Twitter or other things. So different ways to find us. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Dale for guiding us all week and bringing in some great people to interview. It was really nice to hear Angie yesterday. I believe that was yesterday. So thank you, Dale, and thank you, Ryan and Kman for keeping me entertained on the Flow show this morning while I was half asleep. And Steve, it's always nice to hear your voice, and glad you could be here.
Nice being here.
Cheers,
All right,
guys.
everyone. So that's a wrap. Dream Team is going to take this into the close, huh?
The pub. Dream Team's going to the pub.
They're going. All right, Ryan's on his way, and I'll just be looking at the market through my googly eyes. All right, I have Googleitis. So everyone have a great weekend. Everyone have a great weekend. You like that? That's an old song, Blake.
I don't even know that.
With your
googly eyes.
Googly eyes. Your googly eyes. So I don't know. It's even before my time, so it might have been on one of those Edison music players. But let's see, what do we have next week? Carly Gardner, and it is a holiday week.
Yes.
And we have Dickie Matthews, and Dick wants to talk to, us older guys to stay aware of our bodies so you could catch things early like he did.
Yeah,
And
it'll be good to hear
yeah.
Mr. Matthews. We've been communicating since this all happened, and it'll be nice to hear him with you. So
Carly Gardner, who Jim Cramer uses a lot of her stuff and features her, and Jerry from Follow the Money Daily really comes in with some nice technical work. So it'll be a good week. And someone asked me, Dale, what are you doing on Thanksgiving? And I said, I'm going to be thankful. So what are you going to do on Thanksgiving? You can be thankful, you can be grateful, and it should be every day. And, I'm grateful to work with this crew, and I look forward to the F.A.C.E show. Try and imagine your life without it. There'd be kind of a little hole for a while. I mean, everything's replaceable, but it's never the same. So 8 years of developing a family and families support each other. So if you've been hanging around F.A.C.E for a long time, support our work. Obviously, you come here because it's working for you. The best way to say thank you for our hard work is to help yourself and become part of the community. And with that, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Everyone have a great weekend. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the calm that we have here in this country. For now, we have calm, and pray for peace. And that's a wrap, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll lay it out on the court for you today. Who's going to join? Who's going to join today after hearing what I had to say? That's been around and F.A.C.E for a long time. Come on, step up. Anyone?
You can do it.
Yeah. You come here, Tony. That was a great short you did last week in the S&Ps. I think you could help a lot of traders in our community. So you're probably thinking to yourself, so I have to pay to be in ForexAnalytix. You don't commit to my body, but it'll think about it. Well, it'd be planting good seeds, Tony. You're an excellent trader. So you could help guide some people and make a difference in their life. Yeah, I'll wrap it with this. A good coach can change the game. A great coach can change a life. So all you good traders out there that aren't part of it, you come in, you could help change a life of someone that's going through what you went through your first 2, 3, 4 years in the business. And I'm telling you, it's a good feeling. It's like laying up treasure in heaven. So that's a wrap, everyone. Ryan, Kman, have a great weekend. My Trading Warrior brothers, you too, Blake, have a great weekend, and we'll see everyone Monday.
Thanks, Coach. You too.
All right, adios, everyone. Enjoy.